Hey everyone, today I wanted to talk about working smart and not hard. What does it have to do with today's post about advertising? Well, I'll get into it, but I really want to focus about scaling and working extremely wisely rather than working extremely hard. In the beginning, when I started my practice, I did everything myself, saved a lot of money that way. I was as lean as possible, still a huge advocate for that. But as things have grown to where we now have 18,000 patients that we care for, we just put out a job offer for another physician who verbally told us they're going to accept the job, which is awesome. That's big news. That just came about literally today. So very excited about that. And we're talking about opening another location, third location with 2 other doctors in the south part of town. So in the next 2 years, we should go from 5 of us to 8 of us, plus maybe 2 more PAs that we're talking about hiring. So maybe 10 people. That's awesome. It's no longer feasible to spend the limited number of hours in a day for me to sit there and do all the IT, all the advertising, all the little bit of everything. So it now becomes important to work smart and not necessarily as hard. With that, I've definitely hired out more individuals. I have an amazing office manager now that I've hired again. I have a lot of wonderful employees that work for me, my medical assistants, my billers that work from home. They're amazing in making sure that I get over 90% of things that we bill out, we get back as revenue. That's unheard of for most practices. Most are going to be probably in that 70 percentile range where we're at plus 90%. So how does this have to deal with working smart and not necessarily hard? Well, I've tried to automate everything that I could automate. But the big thing that I wanted to talk about today is advertising and working smart in the sense that we're advertising for the first time in a smart way. When I first started my practice, those of you who follow my blog will know that I've hated on Yelp and I've hated on ZocDoc. My opinions, but they were total disasters. They brought us the worried well and they brought us I want Adderall kind of patients. And I'm sure those patients are lovely people. I don't mean to say anything negative about those patients as a person, but the type of patient that came through the door was not a recurring patient and was one who basically walked in, self-diagnosed, wanted something, and if I didn't do it, they were threatening to go online and leave me a bad review. It wasn't a good discussion going back and forth, and it led to a lot of frustration. Then I started going down the Google and Facebook route, and Google by far is the leader in terms of advertising. And when we started advertising smartly on Google, we saw a huge return on that investment. My current advertising budget, I spend about $2.54 per person that clicks on my ad and actually goes to my website. And out of that, about 1 out of 2 individuals that goes to my website either calls or tries to book an appointment online. That's amazing. $5 for a cost of acquisition for the patient. Keep in mind that ZocDoc charges $300 a year to be a member, plus $35 per patient that books, regardless if they show up or not. So here we are, about 8 times cheaper if you factor in the yearly fee for individuals that are booking appointments online through Google rather than ZocDoc. So what does this have to do with thinking smart? Well, I turned my ads on Google to starting an hour before we open and stopping an hour before we end. And lo and behold, all of a sudden, the daily visits that we were able to fill up for patients for there were no-shows or other things or just squeezing extra patients in, our encounters are up by 35%. And we're spending only $30 a day on this advertisement. So just think about that for a minute. Let's just throw out that your average physician, as a round number, let's just say you're bringing in $1,000 in revenue per day per person that's in there. So we have 5 people that are here every single day, $5,000. Well, if we're spending $30 a day on that, fine, 5,000 minus 30, but we're bringing in 30% more revenue from that 5,000. Now all of a sudden, 30% of 5,000 is $1,500. So we're bringing in $6,500 a day compared to $5,000 a day for basically advertising smartly. That's a no-brainer. A lot of these patients are same-day visits, same-day things that patients are very happy to come to us rather than urgent care because they don't have to pay the urgent care copay. Instead of paying $75 or $50 to go to an urgent care, they pay $10, $20 to come to us. It has been amazing to work more smart and not necessarily hard. And previously I was working very hard on trying to get patients to say like, oh yeah, you really enjoy seeing me? Great, tell your friends, tell everyone. Basically getting patients the slow way. Now those people tend to retain with me. They're wonderful patients. I love seeing them. And they tend to see me for a very long time. Whereas these individuals that come to see us for a quick UTI, maybe they won't see us forever. But my goodness, it is hard to argue with $5,000 a day to $6,500 a day for about $30 a day in advertising. That is just an incredible return on investment. And that has been where my mind is at lately. how to think smart rather than working hard. The patients that we're getting are also extremely happy that they could get an appointment same day. They're very kind, very courteous, and I don't have to sit there and think about, well, maybe should we bill for higher level of service because we spent more time with the patient? Should we try to do more other things? Should we do more tobacco cessation screenings or other ways to bring in revenue for this? It has been so nice to think about how can we advertise smartly, spend our dollars in a very effective manner, and maximum our clinic day so that we don't feel stressed out, but we're bringing in the maximum income and we're all reaping the benefits of that. Because keep in mind now, all of my PAs or doc that's working with me, they're paid on part production. So they have a flat salary, but they get massive bonuses if they hit above a certain amount. So now that they're hitting above that amount, they are super excited because they know that they're going to have an amazing bonus at the end of that road. What does this also mean for my next clinic location? Well, I just put out a job ad a couple of months ago to hire a new doctor, and literally today sent off the contract, and verbally this lady accepted it. So I'm excited. Hopefully she signs it. We have an accepted deal and she'll start soon at our next location. I've also leveraged the machine that we have now and how well oiled I think it is to open other locations. We're talking to 2 other doctors in the south part of town. They're planning on opening another location along with us, and that'll be about a year from now. Very excited about that. And I'm also talking with 3 other doctors in the same state of Texas where I'm at to basically join up together along with us to argue for higher insurance rates, to turn over the well-oiled machine that we have of the 90% plus insurance reimbursements, to say, yeah, we'll take all that off your plate and we can just all roll it in together and we can all work smart rather than hard. My goal is to not necessarily make a lot of money off of these other locations. That's fine, right? They can do whatever they want over there. They can practice good medicine. And they're not going to have managers breathing down their back telling them how to practice medicine, or more importantly, taking a percentage of their profits to pay for them, the manager, to tell them to work harder or smarter. So the growth this far is extremely exciting, and I'm excited about where it'll go forward. As my day becomes more structured and more full, and as my life becomes more full of wanting to spend more time and equitable, amazing time with my family, I am really focused more lately on working smart and not hard. And in the very beginning, you're really like that duck in the pond. You're churning your legs a lot and you're trying to get somewhere, but you're not really going anywhere because you're starting everything from scratch. And there's nothing wrong with that. For those of y'all that are starting your own practice, it's totally worth it. But just know that in your business plan, you have to eventually get to that point where you're no longer working so hard and you're working smart. And the only way to get there is to either join up with another place who is working very smart and not hard. Of course, you're going to lose some autonomy, so that's the downside there. Or create the policies so that you have a very well-oiled machine so that you can have individuals that are spending those hours working and perfecting the machine that any machine constantly breaks down, but perfecting the process so that you can do what you want to do, whether it's see patients, do more admin time, grow it to more locations. And that's exactly where I'm at now. So I'll keep you guys up to date. I'm excited that we have another physician that we just hired and they just accepted verbally the job. Hopefully they sign it and get us that contract back. I'm excited that we have more things in the pipeline. Things are honestly looking extremely good for the next year going forward. And I'm excited to continue to share the journey. Hope y'all have a good day. See y'all next week.